Welcome to week 2 of Go Green Plastic Awareness for Families. This week we are discussing artistic solutions. And we are Sarah Corcoran, the Forest Watch Coordinator from the Sierra Club Pennsylvania chapter, and I am Vaughn Contreras, Youth Services Clerk at the Valley Community Library. Today we read chapters 3 and 4 of Sid and Simon Go Green, written by Paul A. Reynolds, illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. We went over our findings from last week, where we had 2 tables that we'll show you later in the slide. We will learn how long plastic is around and ways we can reduce our plastic use, and discuss fun ways to reuse plastics already in our homes. So, in chapter 3, Sid and Simon went into their school and they did a study with how much trash the school was producing. They found that the student body was making 300 pounds of trash every week. That meant that each student produced 10 pounds of garbage each week. So we asked, how much trash does your family throw out in a week? And how many plastic items can be found in your home? We have charts on the following slides to help you study this.
This was the trash tracker that was found in chapter 2 of our book that we read last week. And it breaks down different types of trash that you throw away any given day. And this was the plastic tracker that we handed out that broke down the different types of plastic you would find by room in your home. And Fawn, you completed the plastic tracker last week with your family, and these are some of the findings that you discovered. Was there anything that really stuck out to you as you were doing this community science project?
I was alarmed at how much plastic was in our house, because that was a goal that we made in the spring, was to start reducing our plastic and use and going greener. So I was alarmed at how much plastic we found, especially in the kitchen. That's where we found the most plastic. Just in the door of the fridge, we found 22 items. Our condiments, our spices, our breads wrapped in plastic, all of our food comes in a plastic wrapping. So I was definitely disturbed by that.
Now, you said that you were already working towards reducing the plastic in your home. Are there any changes that you've already made that you'd like to share?
Yes. We switched to bamboo toothbrushes instead of plastic ones. We also switched to bar soap instead of body wash. We got rid of loofahs and instead are using washcloths, and bar shampoo, which has reduced our amount of plastics in our bathroom. And in the kitchen, I am definitely needing help. So, Sarah, do you have any ideas on how I can reduce our plastic in the kitchen?
It's tough to reduce plastic in the kitchen, especially when a lot of the materials that our food comes in are either wrapped in plastic or packaged in plastic. Small changes that you can make would be either purchasing items in glass containers, which can be a little bit more expensive, or finding locations that offer bulk shopping where you can go with your own reusable bags and fill up on like beans and rice and cereal and the like. I know that there's a bulk store in Stroudsburg, for example, in Monroe County that lets you do that. But I'm not sure in Lackawanna. You might need to do a little bit of research. Other ways that you can cut back on plastic is when you're shopping, try to find items that aren't already packaged in plastic. Shop for loose produce instead of ones that are pre-bagged. And try to buy bulk packaging wherever possible, because then you don't have to worry about as much individual plastic waste. It's hard to transition, and like you're doing right now, baby steps are the way to go. You can't just throw out everything in your house and start fresh, mainly because you would be creating a lot of waste from the stuff that's already in your home, but also because it's dang expensive. Um, so it doesn't take us being zero waste perfectly. We have to, have everybody do it imperfectly in order for us to make some change. We were also discussing in our webinar how different plastic behaves differently once you're done using it. So some things only take like 10 to 20 years to break down, and other things will never biodegrade. And that's under primo conditions. That's out in nature with sun, oxygen, and water exposure to help break it down. Bacteria don't like plastics. They really don't like to consume it. They don't like to break it down like they do other materials. So really the only way for plastic to degrade is through sun exposure, and you're not getting that in your typical landfill. So if you take plastic and bury it, it's going to take 2 to 3 times longer than what the timeline on this list. And so it really is kind of overwhelming to think that if you use a Keurig, if you use K-Cups, each one of those little coffee pods you use for 30 seconds to a minute, it's going to take 500 years to biodegrade. And your small choices really do make a difference. But instead of just throwing away or recycling those plastic materials, there are other ways that you can get creative with your plastic waste. In the book, they made a giant turtle sculpture out of plastic bottles. And there are lots of artistic solutions for the waste that you already have in your home. You can upcycle it into art. These are 2 examples that are made by artists. The colorful sculpture on the right is made out of chicken wire and used plastic tablecloth. And the green sculpture on the left is octopus made out of nothing but plastic bags. Those are larger scale art projects, but there are lots of things that we can do on a much smaller scale to create art out of plastic in our homes. And that's going to be our project for this week. So last week we had the trash trackers, and we had to see just how much plastic is in your home. This week we're going to take that plastic and we're going to turn it into something pretty. All of these pictures, full disclosure, I found them on Pinterest. There are a ton of craft projects available on Pinterest if you need to have a little stimulation for your imagination. But take the whole week, think of something spectacular that you would like to make out of any waste product in your home. It doesn't have to be plastic. We're focusing on plastic, but it could be made out of old boxes or paper towel tubes or old glass bottles or anything. The sky's the limit. And next week, when we have our last webinar, we will be sharing our upcycled art project. We'll also be reading the last 2 chapters of the book, Go Green, and discussing ways that we can make a difference at home and in our communities. So you can register for part 3 using the link at the bottom of the slideshow there, or you can contact either one of us to get more information. Here's our resource page. All of those links will give you even more fun things to dig into about plastic. Thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Hi.